Police forces working on the border have to deal with very specific crimes. These patrol units are confronted with criminal organizations on a daily basis. Organizations trafficking weapons, drugs, and humans. To fight these crimes, special units of the Ciudad Juárez Federal Police in Mexico and the Oiapoque Civil Police in Brazil work around the clock. Their mission: fighting against all crime related to the border and guaranteeing their citizens' safety. In Brazil and Mexico, it's an especially difficult task. Ciudad Juárez, on the border between the United States of America and Mexico, is home to 1.3 million inhabitants. For decades, the city has been the main transit point for illegal immigrants heading to the U.S. Traveling from all over South America, migrants know that in Ciudad Juárez, they can get help to cross the border. Just across the border, buildings in El Paso seem only a stone's throw away. But to reach them, migrants first have to get through several strict and severe customs checkpoints. Over a 1,000-kilometer stretch of desert, fences, and watchtowers stop any attempt of illegal border crossing. Traffickers take advantage of any chance they find to bring illegal goods into the United States. Drugs, of course, but human trafficking is the most lucrative activity. Undocumented migrants longing for a better life in the U.S. are victims of lawless, faithless traffickers who don't think twice about pulling the trigger. This morning, special forces of the Mexican Federal Police are patrolling the wall. Heavily armed, the convoy heads into the desert. Their objective: take down any trafficking networks. An informant has reported witnessing suspicious activity on an abandoned ranch. Officers will check whether it's a trafficking den. This group of officers is led by Commander Hugo. This former soldier is known for getting results and for his enduring devotion for breaking up illegal immigration networks. The officers are on high alert. This is a dangerous zone, regularly used by coyotes. That's what the officers here call traffickers. They help undocumented migrants get into the United States. With ties to drug trafficking, Mexican coyotes are known for being extremely violent. The convoy kicks up so much dust, you can see them from kilometers away. Arrived at the destination, the police have lost the element of surprise. This building is empty. Traces of recent activities are still visible, but any criminals or migrants are long gone. The officers disembark and start their investigation. The area is searched with a fine-tooth comb. Commander Hugo is certain that the criminals left in a hurry, and the evidence he finds doesn't look good.
There's blood splatter. Someone could have been injured. Off you go. Start your investigations.
There are plenty abandoned buildings in Ciudad Juárez. Often, they are the scene of bloody confrontations. The desert is the ideal location for settling scores between rival gangs. The officers look for clues to help them understand what happened here before the occupants fled.
There's a bullet casing here, and another one here.
A discovery confirms that the occupants left in a hurry. An assault rifle has been left behind. There's no doubt now that this really is a trafficking den. The order is given to expand the search area. The chances of finding one or more bodies, whether they died from hunger or thirst, are high. Coyotes don't think twice about leaving entire families in this kind of place while waiting for the perfect time to cross the border. They could be left waiting days in degrading conditions.
They keep migrants in this type of ranch without any food or water. They often get sick. When we can, we find them and bring them back to the city.
Hijo, vamos a realizar ahí la búsqueda, ¿no? Con la ayuda de vos.
To make sure they haven't missed any clues, the commander requests help from the K9 unit. This dog has been specially trained for these types of operations.
Listo. Lo que son drogas,
He finds drugs, weapons, all kinds of narcotics like cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine powder and pills, and bullet casings.
cartuchos. Es lo que busca.
That's what the dog's looking for, what he can detect.
The dog finds another piece of damning evidence that confirms the officer's opinion. A criminal group was definitely using this wrench, but they've arrived too late to stop them. This revolver will be taken in as evidence and logged with the other things found today. They could still find the criminals. Commander Hugo gathers his men and orders them to continue their search. Brazil shares over 700 kilometers of border with Guyana, 90% of which is covered by the Amazonian rainforest. There's only one city where you can cross the border, Oiapoque. The city shares its name with the river separating the French Overseas Department and the Brazilian state of Amapá. The two countries are joined by a bridge, which unfortunately is not in service due to various reasons. So to cross the border, you have to cross the river by boat. Oiapoque is the only transit passage for criminals. So the Brazilian authorities count on civil police patrols to monitor its 25,000 inhabitants and the area. It's just before dawn. The patrol unit is getting ready. Today, they'll be working on the river. Commissioner Fabio Oliveira heads the unit. It's still dark when the police boat enters the river.
We're going to wait here at this strategic point where we have a good view of the river. We're going to wait for the sun to rise a bit and monitor all movements on this section of the river. Oiapoque is located at a strategic point. It's an area where there are illegal gold mines and base camps for fishermen. As a result, Oiapoque welcomes a lot of people who are just traveling through. People who work outdoors, far from the center, or at sea, or in the forest. They're often not very well educated. They're vulnerable to drugs and alcohol, and they can have addiction problems. There's also prostitution.
Surprisingly, Brazilians share the same terms as their Mexican counterparts when talking about traffickers.
We call traffickers coyotes, people who are paid to illegally transport Brazilians into French Guyana. These are people who own good-sized boats with powerful engines. They transport a lot of people on their boats, and not in the best conditions. They don't have life vests, and there are often too many passengers. They're paid to transport passengers to French territory.
As the sun rises, the morning seems quiet.
Qual decisão? Qual decisão? Peraí. Qual que é o seu nome?
Some boats are searched, but today there's nothing illegal.
Vocês estão indo pra onde? Nós acabamos de avistar
We just saw a boat coming toward us, and we boarded it. We confirmed that they're honest people, Indians coming into the city.
Commissioner Fabio Oliveira decides to tackle a different mission. The unit heads back to dry land. The civil police has two main objectives: stamp out illegal immigration and the entrance of illegal products into Brazil. The number of seizures carried out by the civil police is telling. Owning a gun is completely prohibited in Brazil, but not in France. As long as you have a hunting permit, you can legally buy a rifle.
There are people who profit from the lax attitudes toward gun control in Guyana. They buy them there and illegally transport them into Brazil. Lots of guns here are brought in or come from French Guyana.
Despite being up since dawn, the officers in Oiapoque don't have time to rest. Another mission is waiting for them. Time to flush out, find, and arrest wanted criminals. Quite a complicated task in a city with almost no named streets or numbered houses. But Fabio and his men are used to it. The chase is on. In Ciudad Juarez, the search continues along the border. Commander Hugo's men hope to find criminal trafficking groups or coyotes. Close to an abandoned warehouse, the officers spot signs of violence. The walls and the fences are covered in bullet holes. The team gets ready to enter the building. The officers aren't taking any risks. Each room is painstakingly searched. The building is empty, but all the evidence points to migrants having recently been there. A quick glance around says everything they need to know about the conditions they've been living in. Migrants are seen as nothing more than mere cattle to these coyotes.
They come here without any money, and they don't have any way to survive in these circumstances.
On the Mexican side, the border is backed by hundreds of kilometers of desert. Hostile, savage land where the traffickers bring across migrants.
Ahorita nos encontramos aquí en lo que es en Anapra. Anapra es una...
We're in Anapra now, a suburb of Ciudad Juarez.
Se encuentra aquí pegada a las orillas a la...
It's an area right next to the border between the U.S. and Mexico.
La cual, pues por aquí es donde se presume...
We know that many migrants try to achieve their American dream by passing through here, in this sector.
Aquí este es el lugar.
The traffickers charge high prices for their services. It's a mafia-type organization, very organized. Often, the coyotes abandon their clients on the other side of the fence, and the illegal immigrants are almost immediately discovered by American customs patrols who bring them straight back into Mexico. With no more money, migrants then agree to carry drugs across the border to finance their next attempt. It's a system that Juan knows well. Juan is a former, repentant coyote. Simply telling his story could cost him his life. Traffickers don't mess around when it comes to rats.
I crossed the border 3 times, but I'm finished with trying. It's too difficult now.
You need a lot of nerve to try and get around the patrols. The border is under high-tech surveillance. Cameras, watchtowers, infrared night vision. Migrants have to know how to counter all of these obstacles.
Nosotros los llamamos portfolios, hacen el llamado telefónico.
When the alarm sounds, units head to where the migrant group has been spotted.
Asimismo también se hace patrullaje, ya que los
We're in regular communication with the U.S. Police Patrol.
Y en ciertos puntos donde se ve que Anapra es uno de
We know
ellos,
the spots where people will try to cross.
se manda de preferencia el patrullaje.
Poverty and dreams of a better life are reason enough for some migrants to take the risk. There are still many, men, women, and children, who risk everything in the hopes of improving their existence.
They come from all over, from Monterrey, Coahuila, Laredo, Reynosa, and Zacatecas. You also see Ecuadorians, Salvadorians, people from here, people from Veracruz.
It doesn't take long for the organized crime networks to pounce on migrants once they arrive in Ciudad Juarez.
Migrants arrive here so full of hope. They think they're almost there. But sometimes they're scared when they arrive. These are families with children. And they don't know what to expect. They don't know how it's going to end for them. Sometimes we get calls from migrants who want our help.
Nos pedían la ayuda porque pues los tenían en forma
Sometimes they're held prisoner, and sometimes they're forced to smuggle drugs.
a cruzar droga.
Yes, most migrants are forced to do that. The coyotes take them for a ride. They make them pay, but then they also force them to smuggle drugs into the U.S. Sometimes they take them places we don't even know where. Some never make it to the border. Lots of people disappear.
In Oiapoque, officers are on the trail of a wanted man, a young man accused of theft and drugs trafficking. The problem is that there are no street names in the city's poorest areas.
Yeah, it's complicated. Here, the address doesn't match the information we have at all. So we're going to have to investigate further and find out where he lives. We're going to have to look somewhere else.
The search comes up empty, but that's all part of the game. Fabio Oliveira knows that patience is a virtue. Time often works in the police's favor. Officers in Oiapoque face very varied, very intense tasks. They've hardly stepped through the door at the station when a woman pays Commissioner Oliveira a visit. She wants to file a report against her partner.
Okay, now we're going to take the statement of a woman who has been the victim of domestic violence. We'll record her statement. The crime has just been committed, and we'll record her statement. Right afterwards, we'll go and find the suspect. It's bad. She has serious injuries.
Fabio Oliveira will record her statement right away. The woman's partner was drunk, and he hit her hard. Too hard. She's disfigured.
There we go. That's it, ma'am. We'll go and pick him up now, okay? Okay? You get home safely. We're here if you need us. Thank you. The victim told us where we'll be able to find him, and she brought us a photo of him. It'll make our job easier.
Erivaldo, vamos? Você já sabe onde que ele tá? Chegamos à casa dele, agora a gente vai. Nós estamos procurando ele aqui. Fábio, bom dia.
So you don't know where he is?
No.
Can I take him with me? Is he your son?
No, he's my grandson.
Well, can I take him with me, just so he can show me where your son lives?
You don't know where he lives?
No, I don't know.
Oh, he lives over there.
Yes, that's why we need your grandson to show us where. We'll bring him straight back, okay? Come with me.
The suspect's son will guide the officers. The civil police know this area well. It's outside of the city, known as Aera de Ponte.
Onera de Ponte is a place where people from here, people from Oiapoque, build their houses on stilts in the marshes. They're generally hard to access, but we'll find his house.
Azul? Acho que não tem ninguém. Vamos lá. Bora, né?
The house is empty. The man knows they're looking for him and he's hiding. The search continues in the nearby areas. The officers cannot find him. The commissioner can't keep the entire unit out here for too long. Agent Geneval will continue to search alone, and luck will be on his side. He spots the suspect on the side of the road and arrests him in the middle of the street.
This is the suspect in the domestic violence case that we've been looking for since this morning. We've located him and we're taking him to the station.
Once at the station, the man is interrogated on camera, as procedure dictates. During his statement, the commissioner can't help but teach him a lesson.
Okay, but do you regret what you did? Should I? Should I regret it? Well, I don't know. Do you regret it? Well, given what she did, daring to talk to me like that, But that's got nothing to do with it, my man. You're a man. She might provoke you, and if she does provoke you, it's okay to punch her in the face? You're a man. You know that women are more fragile.
The man will spend the night in a cell at the station. Tomorrow, he'll appear in front of the judge. In Ciudad Juarez, migrants will do anything to make it to the States. But without a hideout or a guide, they've got no chance of surviving in the desert. Commander Hugo's unit patrol this area every day on ATVs trying to help them.
There's a special group that goes out on reconnaissance missions in the desert. They search for people who are in distress to help them.
Temperatures here reach over 40 degrees Celsius during the day. The officers know that migrants could die from dehydration. Unfortunately, the migrants don't only have to face the climate. This savage zone is a free-for-all for the worst type of criminals. For over 25 years, this desert has become the grave of thousands of murdered women.
Sometimes we have women, children, whole families. Generally, the women and children cross the border first, and the husband comes later. The traffickers often rape the women. After they're raped, they're often killed. They disappear. We never find them. It's a terrible result for people who are just looking for a better life.
The number of murdered women in the region is so high that there are often public demonstrations, but there's nothing the authorities can do. Since the beginning of the 1990s, 6 women have disappeared per day on average. The only thing the police find are the bodies of mutilated Jane Does in shallow desert graves. A few years ago, the courts and the police were too quick to close investigations. Facing public pressure, the Mexican authorities exhumed the bodies to try and identify the victims.
The unidentified bodies were buried in mass graves. Cause of death was unknown.
Dr. Alejandro Hernandez Cardenas now plays a major role in identifying victims. It's the first step towards opening an investigation. This forensic doctor may have found a solution to identify very damaged human remains.
That's a body that was found partially devoured by animals. There's not a lot of body tissue left, just a little bit on the face and the abdomen.
Exposed to the heat of the desert for months, the bodies have literally become mummified. Professor Cardenas has established a process to return them to their natural state. He rehydrates the tissue so that clues about the victim's identity may come to light.
Here, I tried to reshape the ear, but it was too damaged. I also discovered that this person had permanent makeup on her eyebrows. You can see the bruises and injuries now. Thanks to this detail, we managed to identify the victim.
Dr. Cardenas' work produces great results. The doctor applies the same treatment to all dried-out body parts. Here, hands have regained their natural shape. Then, the entire body is back to its natural shape, revealing essential clues: a burn, a birthmark, or a tattoo, distinctive features that could help identify the body.
I think it's a duty for those of us who work in the forensic sciences. We have to identify all victims and determine their cause of death. And if it is murder, we have to find the murderer. He has to pay for his sins.
On the banks of the river Oyapoque, Commissioner Fabio Oliveira has planned a raid on a drug dealer. Crack has long been a problem in this city. Derived from cocaine, crack is a drug and 80% cheaper than its counterpart. It is known as the man's drug.
Each of these packets represents an arrest. As you can see, we normally deal with small quantities. We have trouble seizing larger quantities. These drugs here were seized from small-time dealers.
Unlike in Mexico, there aren't any drug lords in Oyapoque. Here, there are many small-time dealers. To fight the proliferation of drugs trafficking, Fabio Oliveira has planned to arrest a local dealer. It's a risky mission, so he's requested backup from the military police.
This is the house here. There are 3 entrances, one at the back, one on the side, and one in the front. In terms of tactics, the best approach is to enter from here and surround the house to prevent the dealer from escaping or throwing the drugs out. Okay, everyone?
The briefing is over.
Polizia!
On site, officers enter the premises.
Todo mundo, façam, levanta. Eu quero vocês atrás do
Okay,
outro.
everyone out, one after another.
Tem alguém no quarto aqui? Não. Tá.
Okay,
Atrás do outro,
everyone
vocês
out.
aqui. Vocês vão encostar ali no canto. Senhora, assim tem
Ma'am,
informações que a
we
senhora
have reason to believe that drug dealing is taking place here. But before searching your house, I'm asking you and giving you the opportunity to tell us up front if there are drugs here and where they're hidden.
No, sir. There are no drugs here. No.
They search high and low, but don't find any drugs. But they do find a large sum of money, the equivalent of 100 times a local fisherman's salary.
3.000.
There are 3,800 reals, 3,800 reals in Brazilian currency, and 100 euros in European currency.
Da União Europeia. Acabou de ser encontrada aqui na casa também.
Oh, and we found these scales.
Que é costumeiramente
These are generally used for weighing drugs.
pesar a droga. Ela vai ser apreendida.
The scales will be seized and analyzed to see if there's any drug residue on them.
Resquícios de droga aqui.
The owner suspected of drugs trafficking is taken to the station. There was no tangible evidence in the house. But the officers still have a chance. The scales. Fabio Oliveira hopes the analysis will reveal trace amounts of crack.
Perito criminal, ele está nesse
Forensics are currently analyzing the scales we took from the house.
apreendida na casa. Ele está constatando se há
They're
resquícios
checking for
de
drug
droga.
residue.
Em instantes nós
We
teremos
should have the results soon.
desse exame. Já deu o resultado?
Do you have the results? It was negative. There were 2 red lines. If the test had been positive, there would have only been 1 line, the one on the top.
Although certain of her guilt, Fabio Oliveira has no choice but to free the woman. Now she knows she's being watched. She will surely stop any criminal activities for the time being. The slightest offense, and Fabio Oliveira won't let her slip through his fingers. Through the police and the court's hard work, Ciudad Juárez is no longer the deadliest city in the world. The population has resumed a normal life. In the 1990s, the stands at the city's soccer stadium were empty. Today, the team attracts local supporters once again.
Antes ni la gente ni salía. Allá a estas
Before,
horas,
people wouldn't go out in the streets.
pues no salir a la calle. Y no, ahorita la gente tenía mucho miedo.
There was a real feeling of terror.
No, sí fueron algunos años, sí fueron algunos
A few
años
years
donde-
ago, when the city was at its worst,
donde la inseguridad
the
era-
people were scared all the
era
time.
muy fea, o sea, la gente siempre con miedo, siempre con ese miedo de...
Murders and kidnappings were part of everyday life. The majority of these crimes went unpunished. Today, Ciudad Juárez police officers freely patrol the colonias, the Mexican term for the 4 poorest areas of the city. 10 years ago, this would have been impossible.
Aquí la colonia El Granjero.
There were mainly foreigners living in this neighborhood.
Unas muertes, unos hechos violentos.
There were executions in the middle of the streets, death, violence. It was a dealer's stronghold, and drug deals happened everywhere. Today, it's a quiet neighborhood. But you have to understand, just there, for example, at the corner of the street, a man was killed there.
If the situation has improved, it's thanks to Commander Hugo Superior, head of public safety, Julian Perez. A former Mexican army soldier, he was charged with leading the police force in 2009. This supporter of strong arming systematically refused all bribes offered to him by drug lords. But Julian Perez, the uncorruptible, paid the ultimate price. He survived 8 attempts on his life, but the last attempt, in 2015, left him paralyzed. His main victory was firing 2,200 corrupt police officers. He replaced them with younger, better paid, better trained officers, and the situation quickly improved. With no more corrupt officers left on the force, the fight against cartels is a lot more effective today.
There used to be the Juarez cartel and the Sinaloa cartel. We made a lot of arrests. We put a big dent in both of them. Drugs, weapons, we cleaned up. This is the Rio Bravo. We're right at the border. Families come here to have a good time. But this is also one of the easiest places to cross the border. There are holes in the fence here. Migrants just have to make it over the walls. So that's why I come here a lot with the patrol unit.
Today, the situation has evolved. Some migrants have simply abandoned their American dreams and settled down in Ciudad Juarez, like Juanito's family.
No, I don't want to or plan to cross the border. Why? Because we can have more fun here than over there. It's the truth, I swear. Living here is better than living in the States, where you would always have to hide. Here, we have a quiet life.
The population of Ciudad Juarez has regained a sense of peace. Statistics show that the situation has drastically improved in just 5 years. In 2010 alone, there were over 3,700 murders. Today, there are 10 times less. In Oiapoque, paperwork is piling up on the commissioner's desk, but there's no time to deal with that now. The night is coming to an end, and for the officers, it's a fragile moment. The bars are emptying, and the chances of alcohol-related violent offenses taking place are high.
We're going to check the bars and nightclubs tonight. Our aim is to make sure there are no minors drinking alcohol and to make sure no one's selling drugs in these establishments. Is everything okay here?
Yes, thank God.
No underage drinkers tonight?
We never serve minors because we know that it can cause problems.
Police officers in Oiapoque work on all fronts. It's needed to stop the city from falling into violence. They are always ready to roll into action.
This is a foot patrol mission, but we always keep in mind that we might find wanted suspects.
And fittingly, a call from the station interrupts the mission. An informant has just spotted a wanted man. The police have a warrant for his arrest.
gente acabou de receber uma
We've just received a call saying there's a fugitive here in the city.
cidade.
We're going to head to where he was last seen and attempt to arrest him.
Tentar prendê-lo.
Stop. Pull over, here. Here.
Qual que é o seu nome?
What's your name? Ziliandro. Ziliandro, don't move. How old are you, Ziliandro? 19. 19 already? Yes.
Vamos levar ele no outro carro, tá? Uma ação rápida. Com
It was a quick
colaboração
response, aided by a citizen who knew the police were looking for this man.
polícia, nós fomos acionados.
We came immediately, and we were able to arrest him on the public road.
Via pública.
Back at the station, Fabio Oliveira discovered that the suspect has quite the criminal record.
How many times have you been to court? I don't know. 7 times? 7 times. You've appeared before a judge 7 times. And how many times have you been in juvenile detention? 3? 3 times. Yes, sir. Okay, well, as you can see, he's been accused 7 times and incarcerated 3 times. And he's only 19.
The young man will spend the night in a cell at the station. But the night's not over yet for the officers. Someone has reported suspicious activity in a neighborhood nicknamed Crackland.
Aqui é local em que
Crack addicts often come here to use.
para consumir drogas.
It's a miniature crack land with closed-off, separate rooms.
Here, people live in terrible conditions. One at a time, the rooms are searched.
Você é usuário? Tá.
A young woman under the effect of drugs is sitting in one of the rooms. She admits working as a prostitute at the illegal gold mines on the other side of the border.
Okay, tell me, how old are you?
25.
25. Tell me, when did you come here, to this room?
Today,
There are no drugs in the girl's room, so the police cannot arrest her. In front of the station, the young mother breaks down and claims that her children have been placed in care.
it's no way to treat human beings. They were taken away like they were just objects, like they aren't worth anything. They even fined me.
I understand. It's difficult.
I asked to go to rehab, but they didn't have anything for me.
Listen, as soon as you're rehabilitated, you'll get your children back. But think about it. Maybe your children are in better circumstances now than when they were with you, no? Come on, it'll all work out.
Tudo de bom, então.
In Mexico, night is falling on Ciudad Juarez. The border disappears under darkness. Nowadays, Commander Hugo's unit can do their job and ensure the citizens are safe. But it's not always been this way.
Esta es la zona del
We're in the downtown district.
unos centros nocturnos.
It's an area with lots of bars, restaurants.
Y algo que, pues que en aquellos
Back in the day, there were lots of illegal dealings going on here.
pues por todas las
Extortion, murders, that kind of thing.
No, mire, pues ahorita
It's completely different now. Like you can see, people are enjoying themselves. It's much better. Much better.
muy bueno.
A call from the station interrupts the commander. A car has stopped in the middle of the highway, and it seems suspicious.
Es un vehículo
This vehicle has been reported as stolen, and the driver has abandoned it and fled.
y abandonado. Y ahorita los compañeros se van a encargar de
There was an accident and the driver fled.
y trasladarla
There are a few units patrolling the area to see if we can catch him.
recuperado por su dueño. Cerradas, vans.
It's a minivan, the type of vehicle that coyotes use.
Estas personas.
Today, although the coyotes are less active, crime is still rife. The United States will always attract illegal immigration, regardless of the risks migrants face. Given the circumstances, Commander Hugo's mission is far from over. It's a new day for Commissioner Fabio Oliveira, but there's no patrol this morning. He is needed in court. The man who beat his wife is about to be sentenced. The commissioner puts on a different uniform for the occasion.
This is a different outfit. For my role as commissioner, I have to wear a different suit. And today, because I have to be in court, this is more appropriate attire. We're in Judge Laura Costera's courtroom. She's currently the city judge. She handles all criminal and civil cases. As police officers, this is where our work ends. In the courthouse with the judge.
The man guilty of domestic violence and his partner appear before the judge. Just as the commissioner feared, the woman withdraws her complaint. After quickly apologizing, the men will be set free. The judge and the officers are disappointed. But this is a common occurrence.
These women need to be supported when they leave here, whether through the courts or the police. They need the power to continue the process they've started without backing out due to fear of their partner or ex-partner.
For example, take the hearing we just had. This woman decided that she no longer wants to press charges against the person who attacked her.
Commissioner Fabio Oliveira doesn't have time to dwell. He's needed back on the river. Several boats have been spotted, and he needs to make sure there are not traffickers.
We're monitoring the river now, part of the river where people generally head toward the inner continent. We've spotted a boat carrying passengers over there. We'll board it, question the passengers about the reason for their trip, and search their bags. Our mission here is to stop illegal goods making their way into our region. Everyone out of the boat, please. If you have children, like you, ma'am, you can stay there. You could stay there, too.
Boa tarde. Vocês estão indo para onde? Seu nome
What's your name? Wellington. Wellington. Documents? Do you live in Ilhabela or Via Brasil?
Vila Brasil?
No, I'm traveling through.
Tá, você
Are you
vai
going
por
to a
ali?
mine? Yes.
Tá, segura aqui.
Gold mining is a dangerous occupation. It's a jungle in every sense of the word. It's hard, illegal work. But Wellington doesn't seem fazed by the conditions.
The only risk I'm facing is being deported. It's not so serious. Are there many of you looking for gold? Yeah, there are lots and lots of us. Practically everyone here. We know it'll be complicated, We know it's going to be difficult, but it's an adventure.
Nesse momento,
At this moment in time, we can't arrest or punish this man simply because he's going to a gold mine. He hasn't broken any laws, and the gold mine is on the French side.
Border zones are often areas that face all kinds of crime. By definition, they are transit points for all types of trafficking, whether drugs, weapons, or migrants. The main victims are often migrants and citizens of border towns. The police fight this crime for their safety so that they can live normally and in peace. This is the role these Mexican and Brazilian patrol officers play.